Okay, the Vision 2030 art. Now, I don't know if y'all noticed this or not. There's some new artwork going around town. There's some over right across the road right here at the underpass. There's some down the Wellness Park. There's some at the ball field. And we also have something else that y'all going to see going on pretty soon. It's a chicken bike ride. But this is part of the art program in Hall County. You know, they've also got an idea of repainting crosswalks. Actually, the process not that actually don't paint it. They actually cover it with a tarp type thing. It's not painted in place. It's painted and then brought in and installed. That way you don't tie up traffic. But what we need to do is possibly the proposal from the Vision 2030 article was if we can contribute $1,000, they'll add $4,000 to that to help redecorate our city with some more artwork. Now, and if you want to hold on and get some more information about this, I don't have a problem with that.
I'm going to request we table it and send it to the park committee to get more details.
Right.
Got a motion made by Denise Shockley to table this motion and send it to the Parks Committee, and second by Garnet Smith. All in favor? Okay, I'm going to table that one.
Can I ask one question?
Okay.
We were about to stripe, I know y'all have thought about where that location of that crosswalk would be. So we were gonna, we've actually contracted to restripe portions of Athens Street on that side. So the question is, I think somebody said to me already, well, that was gonna be one of the locations for the crosswalk. So do you want me to just tell them to wait 30 days and then go from there? I mean,
I hadn't heard of that possibility. I hadn't thought about that, but it is a great location going through the ball field and the Wellness Park. I hadn't even thought about that. I hadn't heard that really.
I just want to tell them up front because it took us 45 days to get longer than that, 60 days to get to the point where we're at right now.
That's right.
We're gonna need some kind of light too for safety for people walking.
At that intersection, there's a straight line. At that particular intersection. You want
Just wait
table
30 days?
striping? Can't you let the contractor be okay with that?
We can find out.
When was it scheduled to?
He was hoping to get it done before the end of October.
And the stop signs, it's a striping.
We've got all the stop signs and everything already sitting out there, so we're waiting on them to put in the stop bars.
Well, I think, let's think a minute, because this is just an overlay, a canvas type thing laid on the ground. It's traffic proof and stuff like that. If he goes in stripes, that intersection, we cover it up with that, is it
Well, the stop bars are the
the
problem.
stop bars?
That would be the ones that, you know, you'd have to remove them before, because that's really thick. Let me just ask and see if, you know, it's gonna be a big deal. How's that?
Let's do that. Besides that, we haven't raised it for $1,000 yet either.
Right.
For the crosswalk. Okay, well, we got a policy we need to adopt, and I'm not sure, have I even read it?
Everybody's got a copy up there. Joey delivered it late this afternoon.
Oh, okay, I see it now. This is a press media policy. It reads, it says, a resolution of the council of the city of Louisville designating where equipment for visual and sound recordings can be placed. This is during meetings.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Georgia Code such and such and such allows visual and sound recording during open meetings of council. The area where the equipment for visual and sound recordings can be placed shall be designated so that the equipment does not obstruct the view of the meeting attendees and is not destructive to the meeting. I would also add safety hazard.
All right.
Just add that into that and not be a safety hazard. Does that work?
Yes, sir.
I really don't see where we need that. I don't see the two people in here doing anything. That's your wife and Jim, and they're not blocking nobody's views. So
What's
why
that?
do we want to do
What's that in
that?
the floor right there? That's a trip hazard.
Would you like me to run another cord around for you?
Can you bury it in this floor?
I'd like to.
Are you gonna put your wife in the back corner too?
Is she pressed? She don't work, she's not pressed. She's a private citizen recording it.
Who's the press, man? Just Jim?
That's the one, you don't wear a new shirt.
I don't see it as bothering anything, my opinion.
All right, anybody else got a comment on that?
I think it's very vague and who it's entailing is encompassed in that.
Okay, so what do you think?
Well, what about other news media when they come up here? If other news media come up, like WTUN, these other news organizations, not picking on,
I understand, but do we have room to set aside all those in one location? If you have, is that enough room?
the back.
For tonight it is.
For tonight it is, but if we have the times in
Add
WDUN and,
another table?
I'd like to say a few months ago, we didn't even have no news people here for a month or two.
They're not gonna be able to see.
So we didn't have no problem. There wasn't nobody even doing the deal. I don't think we got a problem.
Are we addressing the public with this?
No, it's just a resolution for the city council. Okay, what do you think? Give
Make a
me,
motion to kill it.
all right, motion made, Gordon Smith, to not adopt the resolution.
I'll second.
Second by Denise Shockley. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no.
No.
So if we had to table that next month, looks like to me. Is that correct?
You don't have three.
Right, like it's not adopted, the denial is not adopted.
It's dead, ain't it?
No, the denial is not adopted.
No, under our charter, you have to have 3 votes to do anything.
Right.
Yeah.
You got two.
That remains on the agenda.
Okay. The Veterans Day celebration is Friday, November 11th at 10 o'clock at the Veterans Park. So, have we got a speaker lined up, Dennis? I thought about that.
Well, let me just add in here, so, it's also, it's done by the city, but it was with the help of the Historical Society. We leave the speaker up to them, but we've always assisted them with that. And it might be a good time to recognize what a wonderful job this weekend turned out to be for the Fall Festival. Even though we canceled it,
I was going
because it
to,
didn't rain and we did all that and everything, man, what an awesome job they did. And very good in reflection back on the city. But that being said, so that we'll talk about who that guest speaker might be, but no, we haven't had that conversation. I mean, the reason I bring it up, because it is around the corner, even though it's the 11th of November, that happens sooner rather than later.
yeah. And Liberty Baptist Church wants to use the ball field, excuse me, on Saturday, this coming Saturday, from 11 to 4, for a fall festival like event. Yes, so they had they're having face painting and all kind of fun stuff outside, is that correct?
And they've got a flyer on it, and that flyer's being around, they've got banners up on it.
Okay. The Little Center of Praise was using on Halloween night, which they usually do every year. They also use the restrooms. So. And the Historical Society, it meets,
October 24th.
I'll do that, next Monday night at the depot, at 7 o'clock.
Oh, it still says September.
Can't change that one, can we? Yeah, we can. The special election is coming up for the city council, 2 open seats on the city council on November 8th. It's also the same day as the general election. Early voting has started, so if you want to do that, you can. And for the council, the GMA meeting, district meeting is November the 8th
In Hartwell.
in Hartwell. It's on a Wednesday?
I believe that's on, well, that's on
That's
Tuesday.
Tuesday, that's election.
That's on election.
That's right.
They did that on election day.
Yep.
Oh, okay. How convenient then. The Little Ladies Luncheon is Wednesday, October 26th, lunch or dinner. Lunch is at noon, dinner's at 6:30. It's going to be at the depot. And the Christmas in the Park is on, Dennis says on the 4 days away. I haven't counted, but December 3rd, from 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock. The parade will be at 6. So you can start registration now, get your floats ready, and it's another fun event for the city of Louisville. We do it quite well every year. Santa Claus is still ahead. Okay. Time for citizens' comments. Anybody got anything?
Eric Stewart, 6217 Main Street. I just want to address one thing on this, and I got 2 announcements. I'll just tell the council, I don't know all of what it attends, but number 12 that was on the agenda tonight with the Vision 2030 art project, I would just really suggest that y'all make sure that you get to view that art before it's put in our city, because I would hate for us to just approve that, and then all of a sudden we've got art that our citizens wouldn't approve of. So that'd just be something I'd say, to make sure that y'all get to view it before it gets placed.
We're managing the installation of it, so we're actually watching it when before it goes in. So
Okay, well, just a reminder.
Thank
And
you
then,
much.
yeah, just two quick announcements. It was mentioned a while ago. Saturday will be over at Raffy Banks Park and the Wellness Park. We'll be at both from 1 to 3 o'clock for the public to come. We'll be there setting up at 11. 1 to 3, totally free event for our whole community. We'll have a hayride. That'll be shuttling people from the park over to the Wellness Park. Then we'll have face painting, a balloon artist, and all those are paid people that's coming, so it'll be really good stuff. A pumpkin hunt. We'll have people dressed up handing out candy. We'll have a cookie walk, blow-ups. So we'll have a lot going on. We'd love our community to come out. But that's a totally free event. We'll have hot dogs, popcorn. So everyone's invited to that. And also, just a quick reminder, Love Your Neighbor Ministries this Friday does Loads of Love laundry ministry down at the laundromat. This Friday, we're going to have the mobile clothes closet. We'll have a free hot breakfast for anybody who wants to come have some breakfast between 8:30 and 11:30. And also, if anyone's aware of anybody within inside the city limits that has a need to get their laundry done, we're more than welcome to go pick that up for them, wash it, fold it, bring it back to them. So if you have somebody inside the city limits that's shut in or elderly that we could assist with that, just please contact the ministry. You can find us on Facebook at Love Your Neighbor Ministries Lula, and we'd love to just serve our citizens in that way if you know of anyone. So thank you.
Anybody else? Yes, sir.
David Wiley, 106 Hampton Street. I just want to have a comment. I just want to say this Saturday, I guess I've been in Louisville for 67 years. I want to say that's probably the best fall festival I've seen in 67 years. I think I'm making a recommendation that should be held, I think it should be held over there every year. Because I mean, that was people haven't seen in years. It's just a camaraderie for everybody to be together as one. There's no race, no religion, no politics, just everybody being on one accord. And I think, that's the best I have seen. And whoever put it together, organized it, they did a wonderful job. I think it should be done over there every year. Because, I mean, it was vendors there that we probably wouldn't have had if we had that. I'm not saying the depot wasn't good, but the ballpark was the weather was, and I thank God put it, the council last week, that week, put it for this week, because it turned out real well. I just want to say thank you for whoever organized it. They did a wonderful job.
You're welcome, David.
I was gonna say, you need to take your vows while you can get them.
One minute, Mr. Rickey. And based on what he just said, I did make the decision this weekend. We will have the Historical Society's Little Fall Festival at the ball field next year. Thank you.
It was great, Cassie.
Can I make just a comment on that?
Sure.
It's bothered me since the last meeting that y'all declined to give a contribution to the Historical Society. I'm not involved with them, but I think we all know that they work very hard. One person said, let's don't give them anything. Well, that's what we did, was nothing. And those people work hard, and they put a lot of their hours in, and as far as I know, they get nothing for what they do. And I think y'all have to rescind that and give them some money to support what they're doing, because they work hard. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Being a citizen
No, you
No,
go
go
right
ahead.
ahead. You go right ahead.
Thank you. Yeah, I want to talk about the importance of the election coming up for all of us, whether you're officials or citizens. This election is very important to our growth and progress, not only for now, but especially for our future. I believe that God is wanting to see our city and residents have a better place to live and raise our children. What we got to believe is that now is the time to stand up and to be counted for the right things and growth for not only now, but for our future. It is time to say that our old attitude that we have had in the past has done nothing to elevate us into the future for the betterment of our citizens, especially for our youth. The way to fail is because we fail to fight for the right things we need. We must continue to look for the future that we want and need. I have always been pleased to see all our officials, regardless of the position that they were elected to, take classes and all information they can muster to move our city and its citizens to a higher standard. I have personally seen our city manager, Dennis Morgan, and the work crew perform the duties that were assigned to them, move the city in a way that each and every one of us are grateful for the performance and attitude. It is also that any of 4 elected officials never tried to work against their citizens from expressing how they hear or feel about seems to be happening in our city. I would hope that they would want to know how we feel. We can't afford to work against one another for the sake of our own personal interests. United we stand as citizens, and our elected officials will find we will fail in the purpose that we were accomplished by being honest, by working together. And that's my statement, that's my personal feeling. And I want to comment all of you and all the citizens here to look for a better future, to make our city grow in the right way for everybody and not just for a few selected few for their own personal benefit. And that's my statement for the evening. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Chip.
Again, I'm Chip Horst, 196 Railroad Avenue. I'd like to take an opportunity to explain to the council, as well as those citizens here that may or may not know, why exactly the Historical Society of Lula Belton exists. We exist for the sole purpose of keeping history alive. We exist for the sole purpose of making sure that our youth understand where it is that they come from, why it is that we have the community that we have here today. There is a massive amount of information that will soon be lost if we as a citizen, as a community, don't do something to bring that forward to the community. That takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of volunteers. Sometimes it takes money. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it just takes people diving in and getting the job done. But other times it takes money. We just had somebody come and speak for about an hour and a half this past week, or last week rather, about how we as a historical society can do a better job of gathering information to get that history together into a collective place where that data can be searchable, that can be accessed for years to come, outside of going to the library and having to look through the card catalog and all the newspapers, trying to get all that stuff digitally in one place. That's going to take a lot of hard work by a lot of people, and unfortunately it is going to take some money to do that. What we do with the Historical Society does not benefit any one of us monetarily, not one red cent.
Right.
This weekend we put on, and thank you for commenting, I thought, considering the fact that we had to reschedule it for a weekend, we had so many complaints of people who couldn't find the event, even though we had signs out, and we still seemed to have a great turnout. It was really difficult for us to put that on. Because of some of the changes that took place, we lost some things like security. We didn't have security, and we couldn't afford to pay any of the sheriff's officers or deputies to pull security, so we had to pull security. From, what time did we get there, David? 9 o'clock? I left at 3:30. He stayed longer than I did. We pulled security overnight to make sure that nobody's tent got messed with. We're out there doing what we do because we want to make sure that we can preserve the history of our community, which includes the Belton community. We're not asking to put money in people's pockets. We're not asking the citizens to fund something that's going to be frivolous. When we come to the council and we ask for the council to donate, as they've historically done in the past, it goes to a good cause. And if you're unsure of what that cause is, then I challenge you to come to any of us and ask us, what exactly does this go to? We'll be happy to tell you. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Amy Cornett. Can you hear me? No. Amy
Talk
Cornett. Amy Cornett, Mickham's Way, Lula. I'm also a member of the Historical Society, so I just want to back up everything that Chip said and Miss Betty said. But my main comment is to address the item that came up about the press. I think that it's very important that Jim is here to record and stream that onto Facebook, because
He's not streaming. I'm sorry.
okay. Can I finish? Sometimes I try my best to come to all the meetings. Sometimes I just can't. And the times that I'm not able to come, I'm able to watch it through Facebook. And if he's, kicked over all the way to the corner, I'm not going to be able to see who's talking and what's being said and who's saying it, because it's not going to say Garnet Smith said this or Denise Shockley said that. We need to be able to see faces. And I just feel, and this is my opinion, but I feel like this is a personal attack to Jim, and I just think that that's uncalled for. We need, and the citizens, we have a lot of elderly in our community. Sometimes their grandchildren show them how to use the computer to be able to go access things like city council meetings that they physically can't get up and attend, but their grandchildren or children say, here, Mom, Grandma, let me show you how you can watch it. They're surely not going to be able to see what's going on with their failing eyesight if the camera's all the way in the back of the room in the corner. We need to have media representation somewhere near the front of this room so that people can see it and people can hear it. Because even with it being up front and me watching it from home, I still have a problem hearing a lot of what's being said, especially by some of the people who are softer speakers, like Joe, you speak softly. So a lot of times I can't hear what you're saying at all. And you know how Facebook likes to guess what you're saying and put it in the lines, and it says things that you're not saying because it can't understand, it can't hear what you're saying either. So I would just like to stress, I think it is important that we have press, and I think it's important that we have it near the front, so that the society or community has just as much the opportunity to see and hear what's going on as the people that are in this room. So, thanks.
Thank you. Anybody else?
I would. First, let me say I don't have a target on my back, so I'm not here to offend anybody. I just had a question for council. Has there ever been a resolution adopted for public funds to go to nonprofit? Has there ever been?
You're asking a question if it's
Yes.
happened in the past?
No, I'm not asking if it's happened. What I'm asking is it lawful? It has to be a resolution or a law or adoption by the city council to allow public funds to go to a nonprofit.
It's on a case-by-case basis, if I understand it correctly. Is that correct?
Well, what he's pointing out is that you're limited on providing public funds. You can't make a contribution under the anti-gratuitous clause of the Georgia Constitution. So if you'll notice, when you approve those, you approve a resolution recognizing the benefit that is provided to the city by the service provided, whether it's by a nonprofit or some other entity.
On a case-by-case basis?
Yes.
Not generally, just a case-by-case basis.
But he's got a point, is that you can't just make a contribution to a nonprofit. The city has to receive a benefit from the service that's provided.
The only reason I brought that up, I'm for historical societies. As a whole, I understand what their mission is. I personally own a nonprofit, and so I've been through the process of being registered through the state of Georgia and through the federal EIN number. I haven't renewed it lately, but so I understand through state law that nonprofits typically have to have a license and typically get their funding through fundraising, through different things, or through federal grants or state grants. So that's typically where nonprofits get their funds from. If I was aware that I could come to a city in any one of the cities and request funds for my nonprofit, which was a charitable nonprofit to help community, I would have been doing that. But in my understanding is that across the whole country, some states have made rules, passed laws totally against it. Any municipality contributing money to a nonprofit. So I just raise concern there. Not against whatever people do, what people are doing. I think what happened this weekend was fantastic. I've been here 7 years. That's probably, I agree, the best one, the best turnout, lots of parking. It was well organized and everything was fantastic. I stayed most of the day, both days. So, that was just my only concern, because being experienced with nonprofits, typically historical societies find properties and buildings and whatnot that have history in there, and they want to keep that and for the future generations to learn from the history. So that's my only concern about that. Giving money to a nonprofit using public funds is my only question. Thank you.
Thank you, Roy. Anybody else?
Excuse me, Cassie Swearingen, 6747 Oak Cornelia Highway. Excuse the voice, it's been a rough weekend. I'm not here to make any facts or statements on what I know about the law and nonprofits. It is my understanding that the Historical Society has been coming to the city asking for help and sponsorship in putting on the Fall Festival for the community. That it is a community effort, and the city and the Historical Society get together, and the funds that were requested to help are only because we are all trying to work together to put on a community event, not to go towards any historical funding for ourselves. It's for the community itself. And I just want to state that as the spokesperson, I guess you'd say, for the Historical Society of Louisville Belton. Thank you.
How y'all doing again? My name is Felton Wood. And get something clear here. I put y'all in the paper, put me in the paper. Job well done at the baseball. There was no donations from the city. No donations from the city. Let's get that straight. Now, only donations that the city turned around that is went and got garbage for me. I turned around and donated that out of my heart because we had a abandoned building that needed fixed up, thanks to our mayor, one city council. We did a church group thing over there, and it was wonderful. For 6 days, my money paid for that food for the church group. Not the Historical Society, not another citizen, not y'all. Now, if we can work together, and I'm a nonprofit, because I ain't gonna ask you for your money. I'm gonna do it to help out our city. I love this city. And another thing, I'm here to help. But think about it, the Historical Society, number one, is for Historical Society buildings. You know, historical buildings. They shouldn't be getting rent-free, in my opinion. Rent-free. The city just remodeled the building, put a roof on it, on their request, because of the mold and all that. That's fine. But turn around using the depot for free? I mean, what? You explain to me. Think for 5 years. What has the Historical Society done for the city out of their own pocket? Besides using for the depot, for the railroad days and stuff like that. Have they personally raised up any money to fix any buildings for us? No. Now, I suggest a Historical Society, like, for example, if they want to do something, what about Mary Barbara's old post office? Let's restore it. But no, it's overgrowth. The Historical Society suggests raise funds for get money up and maybe purchase that building for the historical or the art or anything. But no, we ain't getting nothing like that. That little building over there that you're gonna tear down, I would suggest, it was a good idea for me anyway to suggest to y'all to use it for an art place. So tearing it down, it costs you money. When I fix it up a little bit, everybody walk through the park, they could see historical items that we have through the city in that building, or something like that. But a non-profit organization supposed to raise money for themselves, for their events, for their city. That would give us an opportunity to come enjoy like we did over the weekend. And it was a blast. And I'm glad, and I would like to continue. I request to continue fixing them parks, because there's a lot of issues at the other park that needs fixed too. I'll donate my time and money as I can get it to do it, if y'all approve. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Speaking of the repairs at the park, my career was in general liability insurance, and there is an insurance liability risk in the women's restrooms where the toilets were not installed properly and they rock back and forth. I actually had a vendor complain that...
Is it at the walking trails or the...
No, at the ball field.
Okay.
The women's toilets were not installed properly. They're not seated. They're about that far off of the floor. And my granddaughter loved it because she thought it was a rocking horse. So she was, wee. Us adults, we didn't think it was so fun because the entire toilet, as soon as you sit down, would slam up against the back wall. So that's a liability for the city. And so you guys should be concerned about that.
I'll look into it.
Thank you much.
Chip Horst, 196 Railroad Avenue. If any citizen, council member, or other government official inside of Lula has any questions about what the Historical Society does or is planning, I invite you to please come.
Anybody else? I think it's time for council comments. We'll start with you, Dean.
I just appreciate everybody coming and their comments, and, y'all keep up the good work coming out and letting us know what y'all want. Thank y'all for coming.
I'll second that, and I would like to ask tonight for the council to have the privilege of voting to let the citizens have 2 citizens comment at each meeting instead of 1. I think we're cheating the people. My opinion.
Okay. Anything else?
Are we voting on that?
No, not yet.
I
I'd
just
like to
want
call for a vote.
All right, you want now? You want to ask to finish her comments?
Huh?
You want to let her comment first?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
I want to thank everyone for coming out, and it's something I've been noticing on Facebook. I don't comment a lot on Facebook, but I do read a lot of comments, and I've noticed a division, and I appreciate all y'all coming out and speaking, but there's a division within our community that I've noticed, and I just want to encourage y'all to not be so closed-minded to other people's opinions, to open up to other people's thoughts and how they feel that things should go. To love your neighbor. If you see something that's going on, instead of reporting them, maybe ask them if they need a little help. Let's be good citizens to each other. Let's love each other and be a community that we're proud of. Because it's not all about the things that we're doing, it's about how we treat each other. And there's just been so much division, and it's really weighing heavy on me. And I just want y'all to be nicer to each other, please. I love all y'all, and I try my best to do what I feel is right up here, and you may not always agree with my opinion, and that's okay. You don't have to. I don't always agree with you, but let's decide to agree to disagree at times. Civil. I can't even get my word out. Civilly. Without all the name calling and the downing each other and all this. With all that, it's been beautiful weather, and I'm glad that the Fall Festival turned out as great as it did. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed walking around, and come out to next month's meeting. Thank you.
All right, Garner's made a suggestion, we go back to 2 citizen comments per meeting. That was my call to make in order to shorten the meeting so Garnet doesn't get home after dark, like tonight. But if that's what y'all want, anybody else want 2 comments per meeting?
Citizens Day.
I would agree with that. I feel like that we may be limiting their voice
so be
by
it.
doing that.
So be it. That's my call to make. We don't have to vote on it. I don't take it out, I put it back in.
Thank you.
But the first comment is not addressing the agenda because you haven't heard what is said about the agenda. So your first comment is for general comments.
I agree with that.
No, don't attack the agenda ahead of time. Just listen to what's during the meeting. That's why I carry it to the end of it. That way you hear what I was said during the meeting, and then you can comment on it instead of commenting at first of the meeting and walking with a gripe on your shoulder.
Agreed.
We're not going to have that.
I agree.
All right, I gave in to you.
Thank you.
All right, now it's my turn to comment. First of all, I want a clarification. Jim, are you live streaming now or are you recording it? Are you live streaming now?
Tonight it's recording because I don't have an internet connection.
Yeah, it must be.
Has it ever been live streamed during the meeting itself?
Oh, yes.
Well, I did not know that.
Someone else is live streaming tonight.
Yes, they are. They do every week.
So does Jim.
Patty, are you live streaming? What I thought.
And she doesn't have a special internet connection. I mean, yes, sir.
What if we don't consent to be recorded?
What's that? I didn't
Does the
understand.
streaming stop or pause or anything?
When you come to a public meeting, the Georgia law is that anybody who wants to record audio or visual, they're entitled to do so.
Okay.
Good question. Okay. Now, I want to thank all y'all for coming out. We've been a real heated, spiritual, not spiritual, but spirited. How about that? Is that better? Spirited. And that's a good meeting. That's what's called a good meeting.
Good meeting.
But both, are now agree on that. If you get the conversation going both ways, and people listening, and not overreacting to the start with, that's a good meeting. Now, we'll walk out of here, we'll all be friends, we'll all work toward getting the city straight, try to keep it straightened out as much as it can, so, but we're gonna have some disagreements, and don't get mad when they happen. Just try to understand, and we try to understand everybody else too, so. Okay, I think I'm through now. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn, go home.
Garner Smith made a motion to adjourn, Denise Shopman second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Let's go home.
I hear you.
But we gotta get these signed. I need Gene and Denise
Right.
to sign these.
That was good. You can give it back to Tammy when you're done there.